Okay, so here we are at the SRO Esports Sim Pro Series Round 2 at Paul Ricard, and I'm joined by our superstar driver, Leon Hoppe. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. Looking forward to the race. Till now, nervosity is pretty much not existing. Just hoping to chill till I'm ready to drive.
Yeah, it's a different vibe here. I feel like Monza was absolutely frenetic. There was just stuff happening everywhere. It was chaos.
Yeah.
It was very, very busy. We were running from interview to practice sessions, setup sessions. It was very intense. We've got a bit of time today, so your free practice isn't for another couple of hours, and then the race is late. So the Paul Ricard GT3 race is 6 till midnight, and our race starts halfway through that period.
Yeah.
So you've got a bit of time to prepare mentally.
Yeah. My mental preparation is gonna be looking at the cars driving by on the track.
Nice.
Because there's nothing more relaxing than hearing the sound of them.
Yeah. It is beautiful, and it's nice being here at Paul Ricard. Just as we drove up, just seeing those like iconic kind of like blue and red stripes. Felt very cool.
Yeah. And I need to say, it looks actually pretty good. I didn't expect it. The track looks actually pretty good in real life.
Yeah.
I really like it actually, also from the looks now.
I was the same. I don't know why. I've always felt Paul Ricard, to me, always felt like it, from the aerial shots, you think it's like in the middle of nowhere, and it's just like a bit dusty around it, there's an airfield, and a bit like industrial, but actually the drive up here was beautiful. It was like driving through the scene depicted on the label of a bottle of olive oil. It was
and
stunning.
Walking also down the, here in the middle of the paddock, it looks just way nicer, as you said, like when watching in the past Formula 1 and camera view from the helicopter, it seemed always really dull.
Yeah.
It isn't like that at all.
No.
It's just really good looking.
Yeah, it is great. And how are you feeling about the race? It's later on. We came 15th last time, so we managed to score a point. But Paul Ricard is your self-professed favourite track.
Yes, it's my favorite track when it comes driving-wise. And it depends pretty much how I'm gonna feel with the setup, with the rig. If I can get the at least similar feeling like what I got at home, then I personally say I have, as long as I get that feeling the same, I say I have the pace for top 5.
Top 5. Okay, you heard it. First top 5 is a big
That's where
claim.
I'm aiming for.
I like it. Why not? You got to aim for the top. Brilliant. Okay, well, good luck. We'll come back to you after the race, see how you got on, and throughout the day we'll be speaking to various people in and around the paddock, getting some interviews, and trying to give you a sense of what it's like being in the esports paddock at the SRO events.
Looking forward.
We're here with the Sim Sundays podcast at Circuit Paul Ricard, and I'm with Rafa of Rafa Racing Club, sponsor of the Grid Finder sim racing team, and excitingly had just qualified P3 in the McLaren Trophy here at Paul Ricard for round 1. How was that?
It was awesome. It was my first official big series race. The track is incredible. I started feeling comfortable. There was a little bit of traffic initially, but once I got some open road, I had a pretty quick car behind me that I knew was, or had been quicker than me during the practice. So all I did was fight, make sure that he didn't get closer to me, and I just kept pushing. And my last lap actually was my fastest lap, and then the second to last lap, or actually the absolute last lap, I was fastest so far through every segment, and then the car went limp mode. Something happened with the sensor. So hopefully, that's a good sign for a better race, even that I can actually fight for a P1 position.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So yeah, really excited. It was pretty intense, and I'm happy with the result.
I bet, right? So you were saying earlier this is like your first professional qualifying. So you're about to have your first professional race.
Yep.
And you're P3, and you think you're out of position.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I feel like it was. I mean, I was 0.2 away from P2, I think it was, and I was much faster than P2 than 0.2 seconds than my first lap. So hopefully we can put it together during the race and at least make it for fun racing. It makes the top 2 or 3 spots at least to fight for, and that's really all I wanted. So.
Now, I imagine most people who are doing their first ever professional race and first ever professional qualifying session, there must be a part, for most people, of like, okay, it's my first one, I just want to bring it home, gain the experience, so I know what I'm doing for next time, but it doesn't feel like that's the case here. It's
no, absolutely not. I've had a lot of seat time. I've only been driving for 2 years in total, but in those 2 years, I've done a lot of seat time, a lot of coaching, a lot of tape watching, a lot of, studying of the mechanics of the car and the balance. So I feel like, I've been driving probably longer than I really have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, being the first one, in my head, I still want to be conscious of, we have a long season ahead. I have a teammate that needs to get in the seat after me and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, got to bring it home, but at the same time, we're fighting for points and we're fighting for position. So I'm not here just to have a good time. I'm here to actually compete and try to win. So
damn straight. And I feel like the Rafa Race Club concept is kind of like the perfect environment for you to be able to come to your first ever race and compete for a win, because you obviously the whole point of the club is that you can go and do the track days, you can get performance coaching, you're going to have the sim rigs there. It's kind of the perfect place to learn, so that when you turn up to your first race you don't have to like tiptoe in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what we consider ourselves now. We're a big community, a big family, but what I want to be known is, a household name that people consider when they want to learn to drive. When, the people look at us and we're farming gentleman drivers, we're farming young drivers, or any age drivers really, but I want to make sure that we create the environment and provide the tools so that it's not intimidating to anyone. And it's actually, there is an actual step forward and a ladder to climb to get to where I am right now, right? And then and beyond. This is my first step into a professional series. Hopefully I can be competing with the best in the world in other series, and even faster cars or whatever the different series are. So I want to do 24-hour Le Mans or 24-hour Spa, like those iconic races or things. Daytona in the States. I want to do those races, and obviously I know that I'm not close to being ready for that. But hopefully in the next couple of years, with the process and sticking with it, hopefully I'll be there and kind of setting the trail and the pathway for other people to see that this is what's possible. And I was where you are today 2 years ago. So 2 years later, someone can be here, and someone that had never raced, never grew up with a karting background. I only did karting a couple of weeks ago for the first time ever.
No way. And how'd you do?
So I enjoyed it. It was a good time. I went out with Jem, and she beat me up, but that's okay. She's super fast. So
And you said race is family always, and you're talking about giving people real opportunities from all walks of life to come and have a go at racing, and you're kind of practicing what you preach, right? You're racing with a young female racing driver, Jem Hepworth.
Yeah, exactly. So part of the goal that we have with the club, the Rafa is obviously what people call me as a short name, but I didn't want it to be my name. I wanted it to be meaningful, right? Like not meaningful to me, but meaningful to the community and to the business. And so we decided to call it Races Family Always, which is very it's very exemplary of what we are all about. Where we go, we're a big family. We're all about helping each other out and helping develop talent and helping people that are in need and that have the potential but don't have someone that can actually support them. So one of the things that we're doing from a nonprofit standpoint is also supporting young drivers and choosing Jem as my driver, someone that has the potential, has the talent, and it was just looking for an opportunity, bringing her under our wing, and she's really quick and competing with the best of them out here too. So I couldn't be happier with the partner that I have, and can't wait to see what we do together.
It's a dream team. Now, obviously, we can hear the cars going around. You guys are racing in real McLarens around the real world track, but we all know that this is just the feeder series for the big event today, which is the sim racing series, right? That's what we're all here for.
Exactly.
This is just the warm-up, right? Now, obviously, you've got a team. You've got the Grid Finder team racing with the Rafa name. How are you feeling about watching your first sim racing
I'm
race?
excited.
Have you watched any professional sim racing before?
I haven't watched any. I've seen some of the videos. I've seen some of the live streams, but I haven't watched it in person. I haven't watched a room full of people doing it. Not even any sort of gaming. And so I watched some of the feed that was there from the last one, some of the highlights and stuff like that. But I'm excited to actually go in there and see how intense it really is, and I'm sure it's just as crazy as one of these races is. It's so competitive.
Last time was nuts. It was like 4 or 5 deep out the back of the arena, people trying to watch. Now, I just want to say thanks, because our driver right now, and we're going to interview our driver later on in this podcast episode, Leon. He's racing for us today at Paul Ricard, but right now he's getting briefed up because you've offered him a space on a hot lap, so he's going around the track in a McLaren, which he's done virtually, probably literally tens of thousands of times, and you've basically just made his dream come true, right?
Yeah, that's awesome, being able to provide that opportunity. Us as partners with the McLaren Trophy, we were awarded 4 hot laps for every event that we go to, so it was great that he was happy to be here too, and it's crazy that he's been in McLaren doing thousands of laps here.
And
he's about to go experience it in real life with a pro driver. It's not going to be, the hot lap. It's not a cruise around the track. It is a full speed, all out. Probably even more so than we are, because they're actually power sliding and making it more of an experience. So it'll be pretty cool for him.
Well, I was fortunate enough to do some hot laps with Jem around Kota that one time. I think we spent 25-30 minutes in the end smashing around it, and it was nuts. The brakes are the things that I think the first thing that you notice.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for that. Leon's going to have a great time, and we'll chat to Leon later in this episode. But Rafa, thank you very much. Good luck in the race, and we'll see you at the sim racing race later on.
Good luck
Thank
to
you
you
very
guys.
much. Cheers. Here we are. It's now 30 minutes before free practice starts, and I'm joined by Alex Votterro, head coach at Automobili Lamborghini Esports Team, and David Tonizza, who needs very little introduction. How are you guys doing?
Very well. It's a nice pleasure to be here in every on-site event from SRO because there is always a great organization, like you see, with all the rigs and all the works behind. For us, of course, it's very important to have fun in the same time and meet all that people that only know in Discord or from Vocal for a lot of time during the COVID. So yeah, it's an exceptional event every time.
Great, and obviously Lamborghini now supporting an esports team. You had your first event. How has it been like setting up this organization?
Yeah, first event it was of course the most with the more pressure. Because we have the presentation of the team with the lineup, the presentation of the logo, the liveries. So it
There's
was
a lot to do, right? In the first instance, to build it all.
Yeah, we came in Monza 2 days before the race. we have to do all these things. So yeah, but it is also something to be proud, because I think that when you start that playing with a console and then you find yourself that you are presenting an official team in this condition with all these people, I think that is a very big achievement in your life. So
100%, especially with such a badge as well. Lamborghini on your chest is a very cool badge to be wearing and to be representing. So obviously we've got a mixture of kind of manufacturer teams, and then there's a couple of privateer teams, some of the esports teams. Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think it's good to have the manufacturers racing with kind of like the esports brands together?
Yeah, also because not only for the esports, I think that is also important because there is a real contact between the real car and the real drivers, the real team, and our team, because we support also the real driver for the sim race. So I think that I can speak like Lamborghini, of course, not for all the brands, but in our side, the Automobili Lamborghini is doing a very good job with us. Is listening every time what we need, we could improve, and that's the most beautiful part when you dream like child to be on track every week. And you find that you speak like friend with the real driver of the Iron Lynx or other team. That is really, really cool.
It is kind of a dream come true, isn't it? I get that impression from a lot of the sim racers here, that they feel like they're very much being involved in the paddock. Okay, David, so you've been in loads of esports paddocks now. You've raced for different teams. How does it feel being in the SRO paddock specifically, amongst all the other racing that's happening, being physically located within the paddock and racing for Lamborghini?
Well, it's very nice because the paddock that I liked a lot was the I don't know if I remember correctly, was the Formula Regional, which usually was held in different tracks sometimes than the Formula One. It's very nice because it's always open. You can meet drivers, and here in the GT paddock it's kind of the same because you can see a lot of drivers passing by. We have the arena here with the real drivers, and I think it's one of the best paddocks that you can get because you come here, the prices are not insanely high, so everyone can come here. It's very accessible and it's very nice to stay with cars, drivers. You can meet literally everyone here.
Yeah, it has been great being able to get in and amongst the garages and see the cars coming in and out. And when they break down on track, they get towed through the crowd. The crowd have to move apart to allow this this poor stranded GT3 car to come through. Now, the interesting thing about the racing being here is that it's really blending sim racing and real by putting the sim racing here at the paddock during the live weekend. And now you've kind of embodied that link between racing and sim racing because you were just commentating on the real race, right?
Yeah, I was commentating the Super Trofeo race with my dear friend Ivan. And it's very interesting in my opinion because first of all they are giving us the chance to race in a real paddock as well, so we can, let's say, feel like involved in this world. Of course, we're not in the real cars out there on the real track, but it's something, you know. And also, it's also very fun to have the real drivers competing on the sims. Of course, what people usually don't see is that these real drivers, most of them, they rely on their actual team. So we have the Lamborghini drivers training with us.
Yeah.
We're trying to help them to achieve the results. Yesterday, Sandy Mitchell finished in P2.
Yeah.
So another
nearly P1, right?
Nearly P1.
If it wasn't for the pesky curb.
he was battling for P1 literally almost for the entire race. But it's very interesting that we can also come here and help the real drivers with the simulators. We can offer them our help, and it's also interesting to see them race because it's something that you usually don't see often, like a real driver competing against a real driver on a simulator. It's something that you usually don't see, and it's fun to watch.
And what has their feedback been like? So as real drivers having to come and learn how to sim race in order to score points, right? What's been their feedback about the experience, about the racecraft, about the feel of it?
Well, most of them, I think they are excited to do this competition. First of all, because they can achieve points for the actual championship, and the young ones, especially, they like the simulators. They already have a simulator at home, so it's something that they like, of course.
Yeah.
And well, another thing is, of course, the prize pool. So drivers that come here, like, they don't just race on the real track, they just also come here to earn money, let's say.
Right,
So it's something that the drivers, of course, like. Everyone likes money, come on. So but in the training side, for example, our drivers, they like the sim. Where, for example, Jordan Pepper, he doesn't have a simulator at home, but still he tries to get our help, and he knows he can do well. He did well in Monza, so of course we try to offer them our help. They are happy, most of them. I don't know the other team, but I can say our drivers are happy to race here.
Great. So now let's talk about your performance then. So last race, going into this race, how are you feeling about Paul Ricard versus Monza? Obviously, Monza feels like a bit of a home track for you guys. Maybe you're away from that pressure now. How are you feeling about the race tonight?
Well, to me, you know that going abroad for a race, it's better than actually staying in my country. It's mainly because I like to have a lot of trips, to journeys. Like I don't like to stay like in Italy. I love the country, but I like to go somewhere else to race. So for me, it's more special to stay here in France or next time in Spa. But when it comes to be in the simulator on a race, doesn't change anything for me. In Monza, we saw that we were the second fastest car. We qualified, if I remember correctly, P7 or P6. Unfortunately, due to a contact, my race was literally over after the first couple of laps, but we had the pace. During the sprint race here in Paul Ricard that happened some few days ago, our car was very strong. I managed to get a P2 on the qualifying. I was P1, then an unfortunate accident put me on P4, but something has changed since then. The BOP changed. Yeah. So we need to wait to get on track to see the actual performances, to say where we are.
It is interesting, that kind of element of variability that is introduced into SRO Esports through the BOP changing, in the same way that, like, people can unlock, in the real world, people can unlock time by doing certain things with their cars, adjustments, setups, etc. You kind of get that here because the BOP is always changing. So there's always that element of variability between the cars throughout the races, but I guess you have to somehow prepare for that.
Yes, of course, especially for the first event, because there was a huge update on the simulator that we are using.
It was like the week before, or 2 weeks before or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
So we all had to adapt. We had a completely different tire model, completely different cars, because of course the new Lamborghini came out, also other brands, other new cars came out. So, we didn't have that much of a time to try. Now we had more time. But it's tricky because every time the BOP changes, of course the organization tries to balance every car, looking also at the races. For example, we have the sprint race before every on-site event, except for Monza, that was before. And this helped the organizers to have a more fair and balanced competition. But in our side from drivers, it's very tricky because in our case, for example, Lamborghini hasn't received any change from the sprint race to the on-site race that will be tonight. Other cars have been changed. Some have been improved. Some have been nerfed.
Yeah.
So for these drivers, for these cars, it's more tricky because of course they have to adapt to a new car. And even if it's a faster car, they still have to adapt to how the car handles now. So even if they will achieve better lap times, they might have to change the setup, or they might have to change the drive styles also.
Well, it keeps it interesting for those of us watching. So tonight, any predictions?
Hopefully, I don't want to say anything because might bring bad luck for me, but let's say we will be aiming for the podium at least. That's the minimum.
At least a podium.
At least a podium.
Nothing,
I don't know
nothing
about you,
less
but,
than a podium.
I just want a podium because after the race in Monza, and after looking at the race, also the sprint race, I can say that a podium must be at the minimum result. Great.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to watching, and good luck with the race, and obviously good luck with the rest of the series. And we'll see you throughout the series. Great. Thank you. We're still at Paul Ricard. I hope you can still hear me. The GT3 cars are banging down laps behind us. The sim racing race hasn't happened yet. That'll be happening in about 2 hours' time. But the McLaren Trophy Series race, one of the weekend, has just finished. And Jem, teammate of Rafa and friend of Gridfinder, just brought it home P2 in your first race.
P2. Honestly, the emotions, Tom, are just all over the place. I mean, the race itself was emotions going everywhere, like with the beginning and the guy that was stationary, and Rafa had to literally like stop and then go around him back to the back and then go through the paddock. He pulled off the best stint ever. I mean, his racing craft has just been shown in that one stint, and it's just incredible. And then he passed the car over to me, and it was just bloody awesome. It was in P3, managed to keep it in P3 with a bit of a panic at the end with a little power issue, but managed to keep it there, and comms issue as well. But so happy, and yeah, it's deserved. I've got it in its little
nice. You're already
case.
Protecting it.
Yeah, like I'm keeping it safe. It's actually really heavy.
Is it?
Yeah,
That's good. That's it's a sign of quality. That. Oh my God, it really is. That's like a doorstop. Like a book weight.
Amazing.
So I was speaking to your mum and dad earlier, and they said something very interesting. They said they reckon that for this race, you're the most prepared you've ever been. Like, talk us about the preparations you've done for this race.
My God, yeah. I have never ever been this prepped in my life in a race. I know this car so well. Never had that feeling before going into a race weekend. Obviously, we've been doing lots of sim work.
Yeah.
It's helped a lot. And just being in the car, we've been to all the rounds on the calendar, and we've tested at least 2 days at each of them. And it's just really been able to like pull off my driving skills to the T, and there's still more coming. There's still more in me, and I think that's the best feeling ever. And I mean, going out there today, I'm literally still learning and going quicker and quicker and quicker.
Right, so throughout the whole stint, you were getting faster and faster.
Yeah, until the little issue at the end. But even in Sector 1, Sector 2, I was like, right, I've really got to push now because I'm sacrificing Sector 3. So I was trying to, get those half a seconds up in Sector 1 and Sector 2 and make up for that issue. But yeah, never been so prepped, and that's all thanks to Rafa. So
yeah, I mean the Rafa Racing Club concept is very, very cool. We were talking earlier about like the sim rigs that they want to put in there and the amount of track time that people will get, and it is absolutely nuts. But like, talk about this year, like what the hell? Like, you are looking through your social media, and like every other weekend, you're like, I'm at Barcelona testing, I'm at Nürburgring testing, so a few laps here, a few laps there. Like, this is nuts. This is like an aspiring racing driver's dream, right?
Yeah, it's a dream come true, 100%. I mean, I'm literally I'm doing my dream job now. I'm out, like you said, every other weekend in the car. Most prepped than I've ever been. I'm at these amazing tracks. I mean, Paul Ricard
this is beautiful,
just
right?
Incredible.
I've never been before, and I'm very surprised. Paul Ricard was not one of my favourite. I know, right?
I know.
But now I'm here, I'm like, oh, it's kind of nice.
I know, the colours, it's a beautiful track. I mean, Sector 3, it's difficult, it's long, but, as a driver, it's really nice to feel the car and, overcome those difficult corners. But yeah, I am living a dream right now, and I just can't wait to do the rest of the rounds. Next round, Spa.
Well, hang on, you got a race tomorrow.
I got another race tomorrow.
You're only halfway through, it's not done yet.
I'm going to kill my P2.
You're already planning cocktails on the roof, aren't you? You've got a race tomorrow, Jem.
Yeah, I know. Another race tomorrow, and another thing. What's nice about the result today is kind of takes the pressure off tomorrow.
Yeah.
We can go out and just get the best result out of us ever. I think there's definitely a first again. Maybe a second again on the cards for sure.
Nice.
So I'm really looking forward to going out tomorrow, starting the race as well.
Exciting.
So hopefully all going well.
Wits about you, like because we were saying this when it happened, right? But like usually, like on a race start, it's like left, right, mirrors. Oh my God, what's happening? Like you don't tend to think too much about going ahead.
Yeah, no, you really don't. You're looking around, you're like, what the hell's going on? But we'll see how qualifying goes in the morning, and hopefully we get a good position and basically repeat today, but if not better.
Great. Well, Jem, it's great to see you again. It's great to have you on the show again.
Yes,
and good
I know,
luck
I'm back.
tomorrow. We'll be here. We'll be watching. You're going to smash it.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Cheers.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
See you again. So, final day at round 2 of the SRO Esports series. Paul Ricard, you had the race yesterday. We're on the grid right now, just waiting for Rafa's McLaren to come round for the McLaren Trophy. But Leon, how was yesterday for you?
I think it could go, pretty much everything that could go wrong went wrong. But it was still an experience, and I saw every time checking the pace from the top group that pace-wise I'm absolutely there, so my confidence is stronger than ever. I knew the race had his big hiccups and problems, but coming back stronger for the next one and staying with my top 5 wanting a position for this year.
Yeah, so
at least in one race.
Yeah, no, I mean I love that attitude. So obviously you kind of predicted like a top 5. It didn't go our way. Ended up being P23, but obviously that was due to an incident that wasn't your fault in the first lap. Obviously the driver that instigated that incident got a 15-second penalty, which doesn't help us, of course. But yeah, no, it's nice to get that confidence. You've been here once, right? You've got that experience now, and you know that you're on the pace. And these drivers, it's the fastest 24 drivers on ACC theoretically in the world, and you're up there in the pace of the top half. So there's a lot of positives to take away from the session, right?
Absolutely. From the beginning through everything, how it's set up, how the organization works. Next time I know all of that. I don't need to care in the sense of what's happening next anymore, and can fully have my mind on the racing aspect and not need to look out for the around